Good afternoon, sir.
Madam Speaker, here we are again. This is now we're going to be voting this is the sixth extension of the emergency declaration by this governor. We're going to be voting now yet again on giving essentially autonomous power on the COVID pandemic, the response to essentially ceding our power to one branch of government, to the governor and whoever he determines in his administration is going to put mandates on our citizens. I am not going to go through the entire history of the last 18 months of this executive authority where we've been out of the picture. We have not voted on these executive orders, on what the governor had, a lot of these initiatives. However, I'm going to talk about a couple of executive orders that have been in place since we voted last time, since July 12th. The consequence of ceding that power, of ceding the executive branch of power. The executive order on the mandate for the vaccines, for school bus drivers, for healthcare workers, for teachers. Just saw today, over 200 bus drivers may be walking out today because they do not want to take the vaccine. They want to make the medical choice not to take the vaccine for whatever given set of reasons they choose. I have a teacher in my district that reached out to me, a high school teacher who has been, I know very well, who has been a high school teacher for 15 years, has been very effective. The students respect her greatly, has had enormous success in the classroom. Her last day was Friday. This is somebody who's putting their financial future at risk, risking their pension, risking their own health care, because they want to make a informed medical decision not to have a vaccine. Other nurses, doctors, CNAs doing the same. So that's the result of the executive order, of us not weighing in on that, us not being able to say yes or no. So I ask, who's going to drive our children to school every day? If we saw these over 200 bus drivers suddenly going, who's going to replace them? What's going to be the vetting process? Is it going to be fast-tracked? Who's going to educate our children, help shape their futures? Are we going to suddenly have unlicensed, uncertified people? Somebody like Melissa, the teacher I described to you, who's suddenly not going to be a teacher anymore. Who's going to fill that void? Who's going to fill the void in the ICUs and in acute care facilities? Who's going to take care of our elderly and our sick? With nurses that may be quitting, particularly with the ratios in the hospitals and the ICUs, that one-on-one, 1-to-2 ratio is vitally important. Literally can mean life or death for people. You know, the people that we've been touting as our heroes a year ago, our teachers, those people on the front lines, now we're facing financial ruin, and there's potentially they face a risk of losing everything they worked for because they want to make a medical informed choice, a medical informed decision where they may not want to take the vaccine for a given set of reasons. I think I'll be off. Another executive order that has been put into effect is yet another year of masking our kids in schools. A one-size-fits-all where every child in this state is going to come under the mask mandate. A young man sent me a letter that him and some of his classmates put together. A constituent, his name is Lucas Johnson. They signed a petition, him and his classmates, sent it to the governor. He also sent it to me. 194 students, high school kids, stepping forward, asking that the mask requirement be made, let them make the decision as students, them and their parents. Let them make the decision. Why are they being forced to mask? In their letter, a very thoughtful letter, they mention in there that since the mask mandate, they've been facing social alienation. They can't understand the teacher. They're having a hard time retaining the information. Kids that were doing very, very well in school are struggling. They're suffering from headaches and asthma and anxiety. And they asked me the question in my letter, in the lunchroom, where everybody is crammed, no mask is required. But yet in the classroom, where everybody's spread 6 feet apart, there's sanitation, they're forced to wear the mask for the entire 7 hours. He's asking me why that is. And quite frankly, I can't answer that because we haven't been part of the process. We haven't been involved. We haven't had that oversight. We haven't been able to consent to say yes or no because we've ceded that power as late as July of this year. And here we are again. So I ask myself, maybe some of you are asking yourselves, why would Lucas send a petition to me? Because we have ceded our power. Essentially, it's the governor holding all the cards on this. Why would they send it to me? And I asked myself that question, Madam Speaker. I asked myself that. Why would they send that to me? And it made me reflect back on a time when I was not that much older than Lucas. I was in college at the time. And there was some public policy discussion in the college academic environment about the concept of going to a unicameral, one-chamber legislature. Should more legislators adopt a unicameral legislature, one chamber, one house? And I had the pleasure, the honor at the time to interview Nellie Brown, Speaker Nellie Brown, somebody who used to be one of the finest gentlemen who ever stepped foot in this chamber, was the former Speaker of the House of this very chamber, this very House. I asked him that about how going to a unicameral chamber, unicameral legislative branch of government. And he said it was a terrible idea because he says it's vitally important that we look at things twice, that we have checks and balances, always have a second set of eyes. So Lucas and his classmates sending this to me, sending me this petition. Why did they do it? I think it's because they still believe in us. They believe in me and they believe in us as a chamber. They believe that in the idea of looking at things twice, having checks and balances. The governor issues a mandate, we have checks and balances. We need to give people like Melissa, the teacher in my district, the number of nurses in my district who have come to me and said they're not taking the vaccine, people that could lose their jobs, lose their livelihood. We need to let Lucas and his classmates, give them an opportunity to come in and weigh in. We need to be involved as a legislature. We cannot keep ceding our power. We need to have them come in, let them come in and testify to the committees of cognizance on these particular items. Let them say how it's affecting them. Madam Speaker, a lot of these issues that we're facing in our state right now, a lot of the different dilemmas, the different arguments, these 194 kids, a lot of the new novel ideas, a lot of the solutions to our problems, if you look at our new innovators, our inventors, it's not seasoned scientists, it's not people working in the lab or in some kind of engineering firm. It's coming from those kids that are tinkering in their parents' basements and garage that come up with the new ideas. I'd be willing to bet you one or a few of these kids or other kids from around the state, these other people who've been negatively impacted, they may have some solutions. They may have some ideas that the governor and the administration hasn't thought of. That's why we need to get involved. We need to be part of the process. The legislature needs to be part of this. We need to have the checks and balances. We need to look at things twice.
We're going to hit the road here shortly.
Now, look at the legislature being involved, looking over all this.
Okay.
Will it be uncomfortable for us as politicians, as legislators? Yes. Will it be controversial? You betcha.
I'll call you inside. Okay.
But is it going to mean making tough decisions and making very tough votes, those that may be unpopular? Absolutely. No doubt about it. But I was elected and I earned the trust of the people of my district, not to come in and vote every 90 days, 30 days, given time to cede up my power to the governor. We need to be involved. We need to be part of this process. And I will tell all my colleagues, if we vote today to extend this power, and who knows what's next, these orders that I outlined, this happened since July 12th. What's going to be next? Who's going to be next? What's it going to entail? So I caution you, if constituents call, they call you, they call me, they call any of us, and they're upset and they're about these executive orders, saying it's out of our hands. This was an executive decision. This was the decision of the governor. We are as responsible, if not more responsible, for ceding our power to one branch of government. We own this. I want to encourage everybody here to vote against this extension. I certainly will be. Let's get the legislature back involved. Thank you, Madam Speaker.